Alright guys, welcome to Stock Talk. On June 14th, it's 4 p.m. Eastern Time. We're going to try to keep this video under 15 to 20 minutes long. We went live earlier today, so I hope if you guys were able to catch it. I saw some of you guys there, and we did chat a little bit about what the stock market was doing intraday as the markets were trading. So let's get started right away. Let's take a look at not IQ, but we will look at that. Thank you for calling that one out. But SPY on the 180-day chart. We're going to tackle 5 of your tickers that you guys called out. So let's do it right away. SPY, we talked about this area, right? We know there's a resistance at 280 and a support around 278. So what happened intraday? We actually talked about the potential for it to come down, come lower than 278. Ironically, the market were extremely bullish, and actually 278, the semi-support actually functioned as a actual support, which is very surprising to me. So note that we did hit this area of resistance here, got rejected, but we're consolidating sideways. Now, what does that mean for the markets to come? Well, one thing to note is we're obviously in a bull flag pattern in that we've risen almost 4%, right, at this point. This pull is similar to this pull, so what are we looking for? The markets are extremely bullish, so every time the market does dip, I think that's a good buying opportunity. Now, you might be asking, dipping to where? Well, if it does start to dip, it could certainly dip to this area, and the markets will still be bullish. This area is the orange line, or the 150 SMA line. Note that we tested this support here, and if there's another test of the support here, if it occurs, then that's a very good buying point in my opinion. Now, does it have to do that? Obviously not, as the markets are more bullish. So what else can it do? Well, what we saw today was a consolidation sideways. So if we do start consolidating sideways at this area, the market is doing what? It's garnering energy for another push up to the next major test. The next major test will be around 282. It's not so far away if we break 280. It just, again, depends on how long we consolidate here. If we consolidate here for the next 4 or 5 days, we can expect a reasonable push to 282, possibly to the 180-day high, which is 286.92, 287 mark. So that's what I'm looking at for the near future. Let's go to TVIX for volatility, as we always do. And volatility, man oh man, that spike got rejected at the 20 EMA on the 180-day chart, and it's going lower. So that is a pretty big decline, another 6%. So which is why yesterday I talked about you could have taken advantage here, and I said that I wouldn't really blame you too much if you held it, but look what happened today, right? It actually went down so far that hopefully you were able to sell it at some loss, because the safer play, like I said yesterday, was if the markets are bullish, we want to enter when it's lower. And that's just pretty much how it is, right? So anywho, let's get to Forward/CL crude oil futures. Now, here we go on the crude oil futures. We want to look at the 180-day chart, and crude oil, same old, same old. Let's look at the 1 minute chart. Here's the 1 minute chart. Here's the support line, right? The slanting upward support line, because we broke through it yesterday, and look what happened. We said that it'll test the support line many, many times, but crude oil, if you looked at past trends, like I have, you know that if it dips under the support line, it doesn't mean so much. It doesn't mean that much, because crude oil can do that many, many times. Dip under the support line, but then recover. Dip under the support line, and then recover. So today, looking at the 180-day chart, you see pretty much what? You see, okay, we dipped under the line, the support line, but we recovered, right? We managed to pull above the new support line. It was the previous resistance, it's high or low, and now it's a support line. So what does that say for crude oil? Well, obviously crude oil is bullish. Now, bullish to what degree? Well, let's take a look at the next resistance. Well, we can expect, since we're at the consolidation resistance area here, we can expect another resistance at 68.35. That's the next major test for crude oil. So UWT, in my opinion, could be a good play if you're wanting to go into crude oil. So what does that mean? Well, I'm looking for crude oil to test this more times, right? We closed right here at the end of the day, but I'm looking for it to come down again, possibly several more times, maybe even dip under it and then come back up. At that point, that would be a good buying opportunity once it starts dipping right here. So the ticker to look for is UWT. So if you guys did get in around this area, $31.40, that's a fantastic buy in my opinion. And then make sure you do know your stop loss, but you can see that we break over the higher low pattern on UWT. which follows crude oil. Now, a different story follows for SPSIOP, which is the exploration products. The reason why is, I kind of talked about this in the live stream, was there's two perceptions on this, right? There's the bear flag pattern, right here, bear flag in the more near term, followed by consolidation, and then we expect another leg down. At the same time, one can argue that this is a bull flag pattern, right? Consolidation, and there's another push up. So in this case, because two ideas diverge, right? They're different from each other. We should not take a position in Gush or Drip, in my opinion. So I did release like half of my shares today at around 38 change. But I still am holding half of my shares, so you can imagine I took the brunt of my loss. You guys are talking a little bit about Gush, so here we go, right? SMA line right here, 150 SMA, the orange line, which has functioned as a support in the past, and we do expect this to function as a support in the next few days. Now, one thing to note is this is a descending triangle, so it could break to the downside. However, you know, I am looking to exit once it starts edging closer to $39 to $40 once again. So am I going to sell it now? No. I mean, we're pretty close to near the support, but it's not a big chunk of my portfolio anyway, so that's it. All right, /NG natural gas futures. Here we go, right? Higher highs plus higher lows on the 180-day chart. We talked about a horizontal consolidation pattern right here. This is actually more like a bull flag pattern if you can recognize this, right? Look at natural gas. Uptrend, consolidation, the longer it consolidates, the longer it garners the energy for another push up. And we know that the resistance is at 2.987, the support is around 2.89. How do we invest in natural gas? For UGAZ, we buy in at the support at 2.895 and sell at the resistance. You don't have to wait until it breaks out, but you know where to go in because where you're comfortable with should be at the support. Here's natural gas right here. Should you buy in right now? Probably not. It went up 1.82% today. Unless you want to guess that it's going to break out tomorrow, let's not guess, right? Let's just play the trend. Let's wait for it to at least, you can see that it's edging higher. And this downtrending, I even want to remove that because I feel like this is more like a horizontal pattern for natural gas, and it's extremely bullish right now. If you just look at this trend, this pull, horizontal, and now we expect another pull up. I mean, look at what happened recently. This 20 EMA line on the 180-day chart is acting as a support. So you can imagine if we get squeezed in by this ascending triangle, at some point we might break to the upside. Now, am I going to play that break? No, probably not, but I'm going to wait for it to come down if it does, and then I'll wait for it to get back in. But if you guys certainly got in around this area, props to you. All you have to do is just keep hold of it, wait for the resistance line, where to sell. You know where to sell. You could have sold at 67.68. You could have sold right now. You could have sold a little higher. If it goes a little higher, I think you're in a comfortable position. DGAZ, we talked about how DGAZ, or the inverse natural gas, is on the opposite trend, right? The one thing that's really concerning is since UGAZ is on a bull flag pattern, DGAZ is on a bear flag pattern. So look at what's happening. Not a very good entry position today, even more at the support, right? This looks really concerning to me if you did just something like that. Ouch. So yes, of course it can break higher to the upside, but it's just too risky. I think for this one, DGAZ. Looking at /GC or gold futures. Now, gold futures is showing something more interesting. The reason why it's more interesting now, I'm going to remove right here. How do I remove this? Okay, the reason why gold is more interesting is because look how, I'll show you on JNUG, but look how we went to the resistance and we kind of got rejected. However, gold looks a little more bullish, right? Even though we tested resistance, we're coming down, but it's been making this higher low pattern. So you can imagine at some point, we're going to come back to a little lower, and then you can invest in the ticker JNUG or JNUG. And the reason why I like this is because Yesterday, we had the FOMC minutes come out, and look what happened. Look how gold reacted, right? Gold is actually acting as like a buoyancy thing, as like making the markets go afloat right now. So look at gold, right? As markets are pushing higher, gold is actually pushing higher as well. So look at this tail candle form yesterday. This is actually a pretty decent sign showing that what? Gold has a very strong support at 1394. Does not want to break under. We got buyers that kind of pulled it up, and now all of a sudden we're up here. Does that mean we need to buy right now? Probably not. Does it mean that you could have bought yesterday? Could have, because look at perhaps trends. Massive tail candle, up push, right? There's a tail candle, there's a push up. There's a tail candle, there was a push up today. So if you took advantage of that, a small percentage, 1 to 2%, but it's possible that you could have done that. So I just want to show you guys that JNUG right now is not a play, but it was an interesting pattern that was formed yesterday. Okay, let's take a look at IQ. So IQ is one that one of you guys called out, and let me just really quickly glance at who called this one out in the past, because props to you, Rico. Very nicely done. IQ is one that I entered today at $36 because we talked about this very predictable pattern, how it goes up, consolidates sideways to the 20 EMA, and now this huge pop-up went to over 16%, and this pretty much cushioned my Gush blow. So that's all I have to say for that. But there we go, right? IQ on the 180-day chart, we're really overextended. So what do you think is going to happen now, right? Sure, it has the potential to go a little higher, but I'm definitely looking to sell tomorrow. I don't know if it pushes a little higher to $41, no problem. And Rico, you were talking about what resistance? $40? Look how quick it went to $40 and over $40. Right, so I hope you were able to participate in. I think you were in IQ, and then many others were as well. So looking to sell, looking forward to consolidate sideways once again. Same old story, and then get in once again. So you can imagine, because of this massive push up, we need to consolidate sideways for a couple of days. The 20 EMA is way far behind. It needs to catch up. A couple of days will do the trick if we can do sideways, and then at which point I'll go back into IQ. It's pretty much a same story over and over. Great job on that call out. Okay, so let's take a look at your tickers. Oh, Tesla. Now before we do that, let's look at Tesla on the 3-year chart. I don't know how many minutes I'm at, but I'm going to try to make it quickly. Tesla, right? Bull flag pattern on the 3-year chart. This candle, chances are tomorrow, this candle is not going to retract back to 323 or 330. We talked about if Tesla's able to close over 330, right? That's a breakout trajectory. And right now, what is this? This is like a very clear sign that's a breakout trajectory right now. And I hope you guys were able to participate in Tesla. I think some of you guys were worried that some news about Elon or like Tesla firing employees, but it's really what the market's reaction to that news. Like if that news really is a big catalyst, the markets will react so big, massively, that it'll pull the stock down. But what exactly happened? Looking at the 5-day, 5-minute chart, we just saw a push down back to the support area, which is where I boxed in, and then all of a sudden we came back up, right? And yesterday, I think was Rico or someone was saying, well, Tesla isn't really doing much, so I'm not in Tesla. Well, yesterday I can almost argue this, right? On the 180-day chart, we talked about how these candles sideways up, sideways up. This is a staircase pattern that is following IQ. It's pretty much the same thing, actually. So I hope you guys were able to take advantage of that. And I certainly did add more shares early in the day today. So hope you guys got that in. Addy boy, I have a huge position in QCOM. I'm tired of the stock. In near term, what is a good time to get rid of this stock, when to sell it? So let's take a look at QCOM. Okay, so if you're tired of the stock, I see. So yeah, this is a pretty clear-cut resistance area right here. You can see that it tested it once, and I think if you're tired of it, I think you're able to sell it right now. This is a good time to sell. It's broken under the 20 EMA. Even though the 50 SMA has been functioning as a support, we're at the resistance. I don't think you need to take a risk of it, continuing going higher, because we're at the resistance. And if it goes higher, great, you can always buy back in. But right now, I think if you were already riding this trend, it's a good time to take your profit. So right now is pretty a good time, I think. So yeah, that's the one. Rico, hi Kevin, please consider AGN. I got in today at 173.58. Expect 179. All right, AGN. So here we go. Here's AGN 173. You expect 179. You saw that it broke. Okay, this is another good pattern. Good job, Rico, on your call out. So looks like you see how this has been functioning as resistance in the past, and all of a sudden we're consolidating. So you know where your stop loss is, below the support line, right? At the same time, you can see that, yes, we're on the uptrend, consolidated sideways, and now there's another push up. So you're saying 179 up here. Perfect, right? It's acted as a resistance here. I don't think this is a very strong resistance. There might be a little resistance here. Maybe this is the time where we can take a break on the stock. But should we start breaking above this area, you can expect the next one at 189, around that area. So again, good call out on this one. 1 year trend. Yep. Breaking above the moving average is just no. Yeah, this is good. This is not bad. Double bottom going up. 3-year chart. Ooh, 3-year chart is showing. Okay. Yeah, so there's potential for it to go up. I think when you set it to 189, I think 188, you can see that it's acted as a resistance here, or support here, so it should act as a resistance here. Pretty much close to 182 to 184 area. Those should be resistance areas. So good job. I like that call out. Yeah, 179. Yeah, good choice, I think. All right, Master Productions. What program am I using to show these charts? This is the Thinkorswim platform. I think you can add notes, but you'll have to look into that. It's one of the toolbox. I think you can add notes on here too. Wendy, CPE looks like a good entry right now. What do you think? Okay, so CPE. All right. So CPE, you guys can see that it's been making higher highs, and at the same time, we've caught it at the red line or the 200 SMA. The only thing that's a little concerning to me is looking at the 3-year chart, we've been making this lower high pattern. On the near term, it's been making a higher high pattern. So if you want to take a position, I think you can right now, but you have to make sure you set your stop loss, because if you got in right now and you're playing that, make sure your stop loss is 5.7%. That's still a little high, but this is one where you can dip in your feet just a little bit, something that you're willing to sacrifice that 6% loss on, because the reason is it's still actively trending lower. Look at that, right? We're still actively trending lower. Because of this decline, or how fast it's declined, I'm almost more inclined to say that it might even go a little lower than that before it starts rebounding. So I think wait a couple of days. Look how we consolidate. Bigger drop, longer consolidation, right? Smaller drop, quicker consolidation. Large drop, we need more consolidation to manage our risk. AMD, stock of the month, right, Lang? Sure thing, AMD. We talked about AMD, and this was really interesting intraday, right? You guys, if you guys were AMD, what the heck happened here, right? We had a massive sell-off followed by a recovery, but recovery not back to the top. So we talked about how on the 1-year trend, we're looking for, or actually on the 3-year trend, we're looking for the boxed area. The boxed area represent a massive drop on a weekly candle back to the 20 EMA, the light blue line. That's when we can seek our entry. Right now, we have consecutive candles, green candles pointing higher. You can buy in, but what happens, or when it comes back down to the 20 EMA, are you willing to risk that 10% loss all of a sudden? Right? So even if it goes up another 10%, I just don't feel very comfortable, because where do I sell? You can think like, oh, I'm going to get that 2 to 4% sell. Okay, that's fine with me, but I like to be a little more conservative, come back down, retest that area. That's when I will get into AMD. Okay, so yeah. I think that's it. Oh, FRAC. Last ticker, guys. Last ticker. I promise this is a really quick video. Here we go. FRAC. Right here. Support is around 1340. So, right, we're at the support. We came down again. This is like a lower high pattern again, a horizontal pattern on the more near term. It's coming down, so wait for it to retest this area. We talked about how the potential it can go to 1342 or the next support 1281. Around that area is where I can potentially start entering. But right now, since it's still kind of falling, wait for that double bottom if possible, and then get back in on this one. I think you kind of found a very good pattern. Just be a little more patient. It went down 4% today. It's still on the downtrend. Wait for that U-turn to occur intraday. So, all right, that's it for this video. Thank you once again for visiting. I hope you guys enjoyed the live stream today, if you guys were able to watch it. If not, I think it's automatically uploaded to YouTube, the live stream as well. And we'll see you guys for another stock talk on Sunday. Happy trading tomorrow. A couple of tickers to watch tomorrow. I'm definitely looking at IQ to sell IQ. It depends on Tesla, holding it. Where can I see for Tesla? 400, 450, all possible numbers right now. And yeah, that's it for right now. Thank you once again for watching. Like if you like this video, and subscribe to this channel if you haven't already to get up-to-date notifications when I go live. and when I post a video. So, all right, see you guys on Sunday.